Hey everybody, Pow Pow here, and today I'm going to be bringing you some raid builds. I'm going to be kind of showing you guys what you need for the raid, what kind of weapon damage you're going to be needing, and kind of how I go about it. So without further ado, here's my video, and if you enjoy it, if it's helpful in any way, please leave a like, subscribe, and if you have any questions or anything, leave me a comment. Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you guys two different builds that I tend to use for the raid. One's going to be kind of a hybrid light machine gun assault rifle build, and then the other one I'll show you will be two light machine guns. I'm going to show you how to stack damage to elites and make sure you guys can do enough sustainable damage to handle yourselves in the raid. Alright, the first build we'll talk about is going to be the hybrid build. And for this, my main weapon is going to be the Black Market M60E6 light machine gun. And for base damage, as you can see, we can do about 32,000 for the light machine gun. And I'm running unhinged, which is going to give me an extra 20% weapon damage at 25% weapon handling. And because I'm losing out on the weapon handling, I run stability and as many attachments that will help me with my weapon handling as I can, so attachments with accuracy and stability. Now for my secondary weapon, I'm going to be running the ACRE, not the P416 like everyone else. I'm not really sure why it is. I've just always had a tendency not to use the same equipment as everyone else, but anyways. As you can see, my base damage is at 22.2, which is fairly decent for a hybrid build. And I'm running Ranger. I run Ranger just because I like the guarantee of the extra damage without having to proc into anything. I'm also running Allegro for the extra 10% fire. And then, the third perk just kind of rolled with it. Now for my attachments, I'm going to be running the holographic sight that gives you the 8% damage to elite. I'm going to be running the extra 10 rounds and the laser pointer for the critical hit chance, and then the large suppressor for the 10% accuracy, because if anyone's ever used the ACRE, you know that it can get a little tricky. Now onto the equipment. For my mask, I will be running a Gear Guard piece for the 5% total armor, and this is going to give me some additional health on kill. I have 42% damage to elites rolled onto it, and an additional 10% damage to elites. Alright, for my chest piece, I'm running Gear Guard for the 20% hazard protection, which comes in handy in the raid. I have rolled 12.5% weapon damage onto it. It rolled with 22.5% armor, and then it also rolled with 11,000 health. And I'm running hard hitting for an additional 10% damage to elites. And I have two defensive mods, one for armor and one for health. Alright, now for my holster, I'm running an Alraldi Holdings, and that will give me 10% additional accuracy, which is going to help out my pretty unstable guns. I'm getting some additional health with my attribute roll, and I have hard hitting, which gives me another 10% damage to elites. So at this point I think I have 72%. On top of this, I have an offensive mod, which will give me 4% assault rifle damage, which is very nice. And for the knee pads, I'm running the Fenris group, which will give me the additional assault rifle damage. And on top of that, I've rolled over the 20,000 health. And the nice thing about Fenris is it's able to roll with both hard hitting and patience, which I have on these knee pads, and it makes it a more defensive and more viable build. Alright, onto the gloves. I'm using a Murakami Industries gloves, which gives me an additional 8% health, and it rolled with some armor regeneration. And then I rolled the max LMG damage, which is going to be 12%. And the gloves are the only piece where I don't use hard hitting. Instead I use devastating, which gives me the additional 5% weapon damage. Alright, and finally the backpack is going to be 511 tactics, which is going to give me some protection from elites, Obviously there are a lot of elites in the raid, so this is quite handy. And I rolled over a 10.5% weapon damage onto it, and it rolled with some additional armor and a small amount of crit chance. That could be the one thing that I'd like to change, maybe switch that out for, I don't know, headshot damage, or I don't know. But on top of that, this rolled with a restorative, which gives me health on kill, and it also rolled with hard hitting, which gives me more damage to elite. When you put all this together, you can see I have almost 50% all weapon damage, 29% assault rifle damage, 27% light machine gun damage, and 92% damage to elite. This is kind of what you want to look for when you're building a raid build. You want high weapon damage and you want high damage to elite, at least for the first raid. We'll see what the second raid brings. Alright, now the second build I want to talk to you guys about is my light machine gun build. And as you can see, it does quite a bit more damage with the light machine gun. My primary does 36,000 and my secondary one does 34.9. I'm running two M60s. The M60 that I was running with my first build, the black market one, and then the classic M60. The main difference with the M60s is I have the 8% damage to elites on both of them, which I did not have on the M60 with my first build. Now you guys will probably notice that this build is quite a bit like the last build. I've only changed 3 pieces of gear, and the first piece I've changed is the chest piece to a Petrov. That way I can get the additional light machine gun damage, and I rolled over 10% weapon damage on this. It rolled with 3% headshot damage and some additional health. I would like to get that yellow to another blue so I can get some more viability to this build, a little bit more armor or health. That'd be nice. For my holster, I'm going to be running the Dodge City holster. I run this for simply the fact that it has the quick draw perk, which means anytime I switch to my pistol, switch back to my light machine gun, it's going to be completely reloaded. I'm running 2 light machine guns so I can continuously sustain fire, and the quick draw is awesome for this build. Now for the knee pads, I had to switch this up. I had to go with the second piece Gia Guard here, that way I can still get my 20% hazard protection. I still have my hard hitting for my damage to elites, but I did lose out on the patience. It's the only negative thing, and it rolled with 11,000 health. Alright, and when you put everything together, you can see it has 40% light machine gun damage, 47% all weapon damage, and 80% damage to elites. So if you guys are looking to maybe do some continuous damage and some heavy damage, go ahead, give this build a look, let me know what you guys think. And I've enjoyed doing this video for you guys. I hope to do some more build videos in the future, so I'll catch you guys in the game.